everyone, welcome back. This is a reading for March the 24th, 2021. I didn't do a reading for March 23rd, but I'm back for March 24th and I have everything ready for you. So let's get started. Okay, what guidance can we have for everyone watching? Okay, I'm going to do something a little different tonight. I haven't done a Celtic cross in a long time. And I feel like tonight's the night. Okay, so this is a very interesting spread already. What I'm seeing here is that there is this desire to sort of maintain the ordinary tasks of life. So there's this desire to feel like everything's the same. Yeah, I go to work, I come home, I study with my children, I watch a little bit of TV, and I go to sleep, or whatever your everyday is. I don't know why that example, maybe that resonates for someone who this reading is for in particular. But you know, the tasks of ordinary life you're in that right now. Oh, I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Okay. So right now the situation is, let's just plug away at ordinary life. Now, that is being challenged right now by this Sun card, which is a very strong masculine energy coming in to give hope and planning for a future, a different future. So it's interesting when you read a spread like this where, you know, you can see clearly that that there is this like mundane sort of energy of, let's just get through the regular tasks of daily life, right? We have to feed ourselves, we pay the bills, we sleep, we rest, we have some fun. We just go through the patterns of normal life. And then the thing challenging that right now for whoever's listening is this desire to plan for the future. So that tells me that the plans for the future do not include these ordinary mundane tasks of the everyday, which certainly I think a lot of us can resonate with. Now, hovering above the present moment, which is these tasks of everyday life, these sort of mundane tasks of just sort of getting things done as one needs to, being humble and reliable and having sort of a gentle, realistic way of looking at the stuff you've got to get done. Now that is being blocked by this desire to plan for the future in a way that is, I would suggest, going to be different than how you're doing things now. Okay? So on top of that, what we see hovering above in the atmosphere, which would suggest the overall mood, if you will, of the individual experiencing this spread, is a card that would typically, if it wasn't reversed, sort of indicate this anxiety or feeling blocked or feeling attached, having this sense that you're like a miser almost, right? But it's in the reverse position. So to me, that suggests that what's going on mentally for you right now is the opposite of that. You don't feel attached. You're not feeling anxious to this present that you're hanging on to. So it's a very interesting mood here. At the base of the matter, which often you find that this card and the card that presents the obstacle to the present they're usually very connected to each other. And there's no surprise here that we see the Sun and the Hierophant sitting next to each other, right? The sun is the obstacle right now to living an ordinary life. You are not feeling attached to this ordinary humdrum life, and you are very much dreaming of a different future, a plan forward. And the reason for all of this, I would suggest, is what I'm seeing for a lot of people is that you're going through some kind of spiritual awakening. And I really feel I should change the channel name to Everyone is Waking Up, because the readings I do for everyone, private, general, whatever, it's all leading people towards this new path. And, you know, we've seen the tower come up many times, and it's no surprise here that we're seeing the same energy, but in a different spread, which is why I decided to try Celtic Cross tonight, because I just felt like, why don't we do a very traditional spread and see if the messages are the same? And here we are, it's very similar. So at the base of the matter, we have the Hierophant, which is saying to you that maybe you're a teacher, maybe you are in a situation in the present where you're not able to teach the wisdom you have. Maybe there are understandings that you are starting to put together and you want to talk about them with people. Maybe you want to change your job and become a healer of some kind. Maybe you're considering a big shift from the ordinary. And what's beautiful is that this card is in the reverse, which suggests that you're not particularly attached to the present anyway. You're ready. This Sun card is coming in to say, yeah, let's change the present. Now, when we move into the past energy, what you're coming from a situation where your abilities to be empathic and to express your empathic abilities were challenged. Okay? Because we have the Queen of Cups here in reverse, which suggests to me that you're coming from a place in the past where maybe you suffered for expressing your intuitive abilities. Maybe you suffered for believing in yourself when it came to spiritual gifts that you feel you possess. Maybe you suffered for that. So you weren't really speaking your truth. You know, I love that this card is primarily blue because it really does speak to our sort of throat chakra being closed and that you're not expressing yourself. The water is not flowing. There is a blockage in your empathic abilities, strengths. Those areas are being challenged when this card is in reverse. So the fact that that's in your past tells me that maybe that's how you got into this present where you're doing something that, you know, is just very ordinary tasks of daily life, you know, and there's nothing wrong with the ordinary tasks of daily life. We all have to do them. But certainly if you're feeling that you're not really attached to those ordinary tasks of security and, you know, just the mundaneness of getting through life, certainly I'm feeling that you're over that and that you want to do something different in the future. That definitely, I'm sensing the energy that you are a teacher, you are a guide, you are a counselor, you are here to do something, and you're beginning to wake up to what that is, which is amazing and beautiful. Now, in the future, what do we see here? In the Four of Wands, what a beautiful picture to have for the future. Because the Four of Wands is really a time of celebration. It's a really big celebration for you're being rewarded here. So if your path is going to call you to shake up the everyday and take a new path forward, then I'm seeing here that this is going to be a good move for you. You are going to be in a state of celebration. You are going to be in a place where you're reaping the rewards on an inner level. Because you have done some work, and that doesn't come as a surprise when you see the Hierophant here, because I really do feel that, you know, seeing the past, a Queen of Cups in reverse, a present where you're shaking things up because you're not really attached to these tasks of securing in a mundane, ordinary way. There's this root issue here of the Hierophant, which is calling out to the guide in you, the teacher in you, the counselor in you, the healer in you. And in the future, we see celebration. So I really think that's a beautiful part. The first part of the spread is quite lovely. Now, when we get to the other side here, all the cards are in reverse. Okay, and I am reading reversals. So this is interesting. They all came out as reversals. So let's have a look here. Now, the first card is the Strength card in reverse. So the first card that in this position, it talks about how you see yourself right now. So right now you are questioning your strength. Your confidence is in question here. But you know what? I'm not surprised because of what we're seeing here. Like, yeah, you're not too attached to what's going on in the ordinary, but this shift is going to be a big one. And you, in the past, have a card in reverse here that suggests to me that maybe it didn't go well the last time you tried to express yourself. So this, you are feeling it. You are feeling a lack of confidence. Your sense of strength is being challenged for in your own mind. This is how you feel. Now, how do other people see you? Well, other people see you as someone who's actually, someone who's not in separation, like someone who's not in conflict. Other people actually they see you as quite healed already, which is actually beautiful, because this card, when it's not in reverse, when it's upright, the Three of Wands suggests conflict, separation, that something has to end for something to heal. But the fact that it's in reverse tells me that you're healed, and other people see you as in balance. When this card is not reversed, typically it means that the person has some delusions. So if it is reversed, to me, that suggests you don't have delusions. But this card is also about how other people see you. So potentially the information we could be getting here is that other people see you as balanced. But we can see that you don't see yourself that way. You are lacking confidence. And so this is an interesting message to get here, that other people see you as not in a state that is conflicting. Other people see you as being, seeing yourself clearly. Other people look at you and say, wow, that person, they're good. They're healed. They are not in a place where they need healing. They're not delusional. Look at them. Look at them go. You know what I mean? Sorry, you're so far away. Here's the image. And so if that's how other people see you, but you see yourself as really lacking confidence right now. And so the truth is probably somewhere in the middle, but the expression of the truth is in your hands. Definitely. I'll say that again. The expression of the truth is in your hands. So you either are lacking confidence or you're not. And the truth of that really is with you. So if you feel, no, I am not confident, then you are not confident. That is a fact then. But, I guess I think it's interesting to see the Three of Wands in reverse as how other people see you, because maybe there's a message here for you. Maybe you need to look at how you are perceived by others just for a moment here to see that they think you've got this. Like, whatever it is that's on the table, the people in your life see that you're going to be able to do it, and that you are in a position to move forward. You know what I mean? And that I think that is an important message to come through here for you, that even if you're not feeling particularly confident, the outer world, so whatever it is that you're putting out into the world that everyone can see, the image that they see is of someone in balance, someone who is healed, that you're not walking wounded as others can see. Does that make sense? Now, hopes and fears. Wow. Well, of course, You know, of course. There's pentacles all over this. So I'm not surprised that hopes and fears has come to you in the form of the pentacles yet again. But the King of Pentacles and in reverse. Now, when the King of Pentacles is in reverse, what you can expect is that you're afraid of your strategic and intellectual abilities. You may be sort of intimidated by your own mental gifts. You might be feeling like this lack of confidence is coming in really clear for me now, that the root of it is your mental abilities. You don't think you can do this mentally. Whatever this shift involves for you, if it's a career shift, if it's a shift in how you make money, if it's a shift in your identity, maybe your shift in career is so strong that you're going from being, I don't know, I work for the government to I'm going to go be a Reiki practitioner. So maybe being a government employee was very rooted for you in your identity, and now it has changed to something else. So this is terrifying for you, but it's your biggest hope, right? Your biggest hope is to feel confident in your mental strengths. Your biggest hope is to feel that you are strategic when you deal with decisions in your life, especially the decisions that affect your security, decisions that affect your abundance, decisions that affect the quality of how you live your life in the physical world. Right? If your path is down this spiritual road here, you could be having a conflict about taking money for the services you want to start offering people, right? That could be the conflict. That is a very common conflict, and one that you'll eventually have to get through on your own terms. It could be a drastic reduction in your mind of how much money you could be making. So there could be this situation in your mind where you're thinking, okay, well, right now I make $90,000 doing something that keeps me surviving, like the Knight of Pentacles in the beginning here said, you know, it helps me with the ordinary tasks of life, but it's definitely not my plan for the future because it doesn't have the vibe of the Hierophant in it, where I feel my future, this is where I feel I'm going, you know? I really feel like your vibe here is that the root of the reason you're in conflict is because you want to go forward as the Hierophant. You don't want to go forward as whatever the Knight of Pentacles is right now. So whatever that is, I'm getting the impression that it's something in stark difference to what you're doing now, which is why I use the example of a government worker becoming a Reiki practitioner. You know, like maybe the shift is that real. Maybe it's that big of a shift. You know what I mean? And it's scary. You're scared. The King of Pentacles, when he's not reversed, he's very strategic and intelligent and can shift mentally to adapt to basically any situation. So in the reverse and in the position of hopes and fears, that really suggests that your blockage right now is coming from your lack of confidence in your mental abilities, your intellectual abilities, your strategic abilities, perhaps your mental adaptability is in question for you. And don't forget, other people don't see you that way. People see you as being like able to do these kind of things. So it's interesting because you're putting something out into the world it's not that it's important what other people think of us. It's more, this card to me is important because it shows you what is your external version of yourself, right? Like we all have an internal and an external version of ourselves, the true self and the self that we show to the world. So the self you show to the world says you're good. People don't see you as needing healing yourself. They don't see you that way. So that is really interesting. Now, if we get to the final outcome, we get the Judgment card in reverse. Okay, so the Judgment card in reverse. So the Judgment card typically would imply that you're going to sort of settle things up so that you get the reward you deserve. Now, the fact that it's in reverse says to me not that you're not going to get the reward you deserve, but it says to me that you don't actually, you're still going to walk away from this not really having a clear perception of what you deserve, which is very interesting. And we're going to clarify this because the tale of this spread so far says to me the following, okay? Whoever this reading is for, this is what I see here. I see you in a situation where you're going through your life and you're not particularly satisfied, but at the same time, you're not like depressed. You're not struggling. You're fine. Like your life, you're meeting the basic needs of your life, and you're plugging away and you're just doing it, right? Like I see you with your nose to the grindstone, and you're not suffering, but you're not super pumped. Okay? You don't feel like you're living your purpose. That's the nutshell. But I want to make it clear that whatever it is you're doing now, you are okay, which is why this situation is becoming a conundrum for you, because there's really nothing objectively to say other than I'm not living out my purpose. Like if you were to talk to, let's say, a career counselor, let's say you work for a company where they have like services where you can talk to somebody about any sort of job issue you have. And you go in and you talk to them and you're like, and they're like, well, Mr. Johnson, your file here, it looks like you're doing well and you've been promoted however many times and you're on the track, if you will. I see a track, you're on the track. And you're sitting across from this counselor saying, yeah, they're right. I am on the track. It's fine. I have benefits. I have holiday time, everything's fine. But deep down in your heart, when the counselor looks at you and says, what do you think? How does this make you feel? You look at them and you say, well, this is fine, but I'm not living out my purpose. I'm not living out my purpose, and I'm actually not terribly attached to any of the stuff you're talking about. All of these things you're telling me, I'm really like, yeah, I see that I'm fine, but I'm not attached to any of this. That's not my purpose. Whatever you're doing right now, you don't feel like it's your path forward. Okay? So you feel in your heart of hearts that you are a healer. You are a teacher. You are a spiritual guide in a material world. And in the past, you have felt this as well, but anytime you tried to act on it or talk about it more specifically, you were shut down. Maybe you spoke about it with friends. Maybe you tried to make a go of it before and it didn't go very well. So you shut it down. You shut down. You stopped talking about it. You maybe even just like, I see boxes. So like maybe you boxed up all of your stuff. Maybe you had tarot cards. Maybe you had, some books and you were like, no, I do this. I am blank, whatever the job is that we're talking about. If we're going with government, let's keep going with government. I am a bureaucrat. I am an agent of the government. I am a case manager. I am a policy developer, whatever. And you squash that other part of yourself, right? So that's what happened in the past. So that could definitely be telling us why in the present, maybe there's some lack of action happening here, but I see very soon in the future, you will be celebrating something. So maybe you're going to retire. Suddenly I just got the vision of like a sailboat with a couple on it, and I thought retirement. So maybe you've been wanting to retire and you're not really attached to the work you're doing. You know that if you retire, you're going to have time to do the work that you really want to do. The stuff that feeds your soul, the stuff that feels like purpose. And even though there have been naysayers in the past, you're going to go for it regardless. And you're going to see reward. You're going to celebrate. So that's, maybe you're going to retire soon. Maybe you've been on the fence about retiring and you're just going to go for it because you really want to be at home so you can write that book. Or you want to be at home so you can start designing jewelry. Or whatever it is you want to be at home doing. Or maybe you're not going to be at home at all. Maybe you're going to leave the home and go do something out of the home. Now, this person is also feeling lack of confidence. Okay, so I would guess that this lack of confidence is coming from something that happened in the past, the last time you tried to make a go of this, or the last time you tried to make a go of anything that wasn't completely attached to that sense of identity that you hold, that you're not even really attached to, but maybe the people in your life are very attached to that idea of you. Like, let's say you're a lawyer, okay? And you make really good money doing law, you have a practice maybe, or you work for a very successful practice, and then you come home one day and tell your family you're going to teach yoga instead. Because you've always wanted to do that, and that's where you feel the passion. And yes, I'm a good lawyer, and yes, I could be a lawyer forever and make good money and be successful, but that's not the path I want, and I am going to go for it this time. Okay? Now, that in and of itself, as I'm even talking about it, if that resonates for anyone, I can feel how nervous this conversation, this impending conversation you feel in your guts that you're about to have with the people in your life, how it makes you feel. I can feel it it's making a lot of vibrating feelings behind my tummy. So I get it. But you know what? It seems like you're going to go for it because the other people, the image you give to the people in the external world about who you are is someone who can just pick up their wands and pick up and go do something else. So something about you is already saying that to the world. So there is something you're projecting into the physical external world that says, this is who I am, actually. I'm not this lawyer. I'm not this government bureaucrat. Not that there's anything wrong with being a lawyer or a government bureaucrat. I have no judgment of these professions. I'm just trying to think of things that are radically different from being a spiritual healer or some sort of counselor or guide. Because the Hierophant suggests that's actually the kind of stuff you want to be doing. Okay? That's the only reason I'm drawing a comparison. There's no judgment. Now, your biggest fear is the idea that you're not going to be able to provide for yourself and that you're doubting your mental strength, stability, intellect. There is a mental doubt, but there's also a doubt in the physical. You're lacking confidence in your ability to physically do this. Thank you. Yeah, I think I just needed to clarify that it's not all mental. There is a physical aspect of this that you're in, like the lack of confidence is also coming through in a very physical way. So it's not just a mental lack of confidence. It's also a physical lack of confidence. So physical lacks in confidence, I feel that is related to money. Money, movement, the ability to face challenges in the physical world. And I mean, when I think about that, I do often think that it's a mental game after you realize the obstacle in the physical world, it becomes a mental challenge. And so that's where I feel like there's that connection, almost some sword energy here, where it's like, are you lacking your ability to be adaptable? Are you lacking your ability to be able to adjust? Yeah, there's some definite lack of confidence there, but it's also your biggest hope is to be able to do that for yourself, to be able to have the physical energy and the mental strength to fulfill everything you desire and hope for and feel guided to do. Now, the fact that the final outcome card is Judgment in reverse really says to me that once you pass through this timeline, you're actually still not going to be, you're not really still going to know yourself fully. Okay, we're going to clarify this card. That doesn't seem like a negative to me. To me, when I see Judgment in reverse as a final outcome, I just think, what else are you going to discover about yourself? You know, what else are you going to find out about who you are? It's not like the Death card, you know, like the Death card implies something is going to end in your life. And in the Death card in reverse suggests maybe a resistance to that ending. Whereas the Judgment card is different. The Judgment card isn't necessarily about an ending. It's about getting the rewards you deserve. So in some way, at the end of this, I don't think you're going to know yourself yet. I think this is part one. I think this is timeline one in a greater timeline that will help you ultimately discover who you are completely confidently. Right? Like there is a lack of confidence here. And that lack of confidence is definitely blocking your ability to realize yourself truly. Okay? That makes sense. If you're not really confident, then you're not sure about who you are yet. And if you're not sure about who you are yet, you're not going to receive the rewards you deserve because we don't know what you deserve, right? If you know what I mean, like it's almost like don't shoot the messenger, but what I'm getting here is that it's almost like after all of this, you're still going to struggle to be your authentic self. This struggle from the past, you're going to have an initial celebration, but bear in mind, this is just the 4, right? It's not the ultimate permanent celebration of creative passion. It is a celebration for sure, but it's an early celebration, right? And so this timeline seems to me like part 1. In fact, I think I'm going to call it that in terms of the title for the video will be called like your story part 1, right? And when you pass through the first set of obstacles here of making the plan for the future, you are going to come out of it, but you're going to come out of it still not quite knowing about who you are, which is fine because it's a journey. You know, it's not about the outcome. It is truly about the journey, right? The outcome just gives us an idea of where we're going to land at the end of this timeline, this particular timeline on the table. So I want to get some clarity for you on this Judgment card in reverse. Okay? I would like some clarity, please, on the Judgment card in reverse so that we can understand. Ooh, that was fast. Yeah. Not for you. Interesting. Yin. Okay. Not for you. Okay. Not for you is a beautiful card because it suggests rejection is cosmic redirection. Okay. I don't know if you can see that very well. Not for you suggests that whatever it is you're going because we pulled this to clarify the Judgment card. So the reason you're not going to realize the full rewards of your actions or really know yourself at the end of this this first timeline is because whatever it is, the first attempt isn't going to be the last attempt. You're going to have to keep going. This first attempt is not for you, but keep going because it's part of the path. But that's going to be why this timeline doesn't fully push you into an outcome that's more clear. It's pushing you into an outcome that says, it's pushing you in an outcome that says, keep going. We're not actually able to get what we deserve yet because we haven't, this isn't it. This isn't it. It's not this. I mean, the Hierophant knows many things. So potentially the first thing you try is going to be the stepping stone to the next thing. Now, what has come through here now is yin. Yin is this card, okay? So these are the same cards, but when I clarified Judgment and we got not for you suggesting a redirect, we're redirecting to a more feminine energy. The redirect is going to be to something more feminine. You're going to go back to whatever it was in the past, that topic, whatever it was you tried to express in the past and met with like too many challenges in terms of other people maybe, or your own confidence. That's the stuff you need to go for. And this timeline suggests that maybe you don't go for this. You're going to go for something related to the Hierophant, which is very masculine energy, when really you need to head into the feminine energy. Wow. Now, feminine energy, what is that? That is the energy of being sort of connected to the flow, the water, the emotion. Actually, the pentacle energy is completely feminine. It's all about earth. So it seems like, yeah, like we got cups, pentacles, and the wand energy is your masculine energy coming in to say, don't forget about your passion. Don't forget about your fire. You know, celebrate your passion, celebrate your fire. Don't be too attached to the concept of money, which you're not already, which is great in the sense that you're not using money as your way to move through life. You are using your passion. And then at the end of this timeline, you're being guided to go into the feminine energy. Okay? The same feminine energy that was in your past, but in the past it was in reverse. Beautiful. So now it's come back at the end to clarify your outcome here, to say this timeline will redirect you to the yin. Look at that, you guys. You mean you just can't, like, look at you. It's not for you. You need to go into the feminine energies. You need to go from masculine to feminine. This is so beautiful. Now, I want some words of inspiration, actually, from this oracle deck about this feminine energy pursuit that you're being guided to. How can the listeners be guided to the yin energy? How can we get into that yin energy? How can our passions lead us to the yin energy? How can our passions lead us into that yin energy? Ooh, thank you. Trust and get curious. Okay? So, a trust. Now, where is this trust coming from, you wonder? Well, I mean, the fact that you have the Strength card in reverse suggests that you don't feel particularly confident, like we said. So you're being called to trust. Trust yourself. Trust that there is celebration ahead when you use your passions and you're driven by your flame. Trust. Just because it didn't work the first time, you guys, does not mean that it's not going to work this time. You are being redirected to feminine energy. Okay? And the path here is telling you the path of the wands is going to get you there, but you're not going to realize it fully, because it's actually this path, this timeline isn't the only one for you. There's others, and you're just beginning. You're just beginning, you know? And get curious is a beautiful message to say, stay unattached to stuff. Don't be like, stay in this vibe that you're in, where you're not attached. You're not a miser. You're not anxious. You're what? You're trusting, right? If you're not anxious, you're trusting. And if you're curious, then you're really trusting, because curiosity says, in the face of stuff that should be scary, it says, I wonder what's going to happen. Ooh, okay, I've been redirected. Something is not for me, and I'm being redirected. I wonder what that's going to be like. Instead of sitting in the anxious seat of, oh man, what am I going to do now? Oh man, I better run and try and find something quick. Just trust. Why not trust? Why not trust and get curious? Because it seems like you're going to get redirected regardless, okay? So that is just lovely right there. Yes. Look at this. You guys, what another lovely reading for you. I'm going to I want to get one more card for you. Just to get one final message about this lack of confidence. Okay, that's what I want. I want a message to address the lack of confidence, because we want to shift that. We want the lack of confidence to shift. How can we assist in shifting the lack of confidence? Ooh, okay. Oh, wow. Isn't that interesting? It's love. You're going to shift it by adding love. Now, the card itself says romantic love. Okay. So it says, the frequency of romantic love supports our journey to feel whole and complete through the experience through the experience with and reflection of a conscious lover. So what this card says to me in relation to this reading is that you need to get conscious with your love. Now, what does that mean, you might say? What is she talking about? Well, when we love consciously, we are conscious of where we put our energy, where we are dedicated, where our passion is, where we invest our time, where we invest our money, where we invest ourselves. Okay, so when you really do love something truly, you really understand that it's all about love. Like, you've got to love yourself. You have to love the whole complicated picture that doesn't make sense, right? It's not clear. Nothing is clear, or else it would be no fun, right? The fun is in figuring it out, in being curious, right? In trusting that it's all lessons. We're all just here to unravel ourselves, right? Like, if you kind of think of it as like a cat toy that's been all knotted up, your job is just to unravel it and not get frustrated and throw it across the room, but just to keep going, right? And trust that if something isn't for you, you will be redirected, right? And isn't that the ultimate expression of love? Is that if I love you, I'm just going to redirect you until you finally see yourself the way others do, the way the world sees you, as being healed and as being strong, you know. And for so many of us right now, I think so much of this is being called into doubt for a lot of us, because, you know, honestly, you guys, I'm not making this up, but any of the personal readings I've done for others on the channel and for myself, they have all suggested a time of wake up. It's time to wake up. And I really feel like people around the world are experiencing this, and they're waking up. They're waking up, and they're changing their lives slowly by slowly, maybe quickly, you know, and they're being redirected to things that are necessary for them to fulfill the purpose of their existence, right? We all have a purpose. We all came here with things to do and things to learn and things to share. And the expression of that is like the strongest motivation that could ever exist, right? We all feel that motivation at one time in our lives or another. And I'm sensing that people are starting to feel it way more strongly than maybe ever before. And if I had any words of encouragement of my own for you from this reading, it's keep going. And you don't rely on the opinions of others to guide you, but have a look at how other people see you, because maybe you really don't see yourself in an honest and true way just because of past hurt, maybe some inner child woundings. But like, I'm not suggesting you need to get your validation externally. In fact, it's the opposite. I'm just suggesting that it might be worthwhile to just see who is the person that you project yourself to be in the world, because that person is quite confident. That person is very able to pick up and keep going without entering into conflict with others. That person has a lot of abilities that maybe aren't being highlighted right now because you're not seeing yourself that way. You know what I mean? This has been a beautiful reading. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope this has resonated for you. I can think of a few people that if you're watching, you know, I really feel this is for you. And I, as always, will take a photo of the spread so you can reflect on it later. Thank you again, and we'll see you tomorrow for another daily reading. Okay, have a nice evening, everyone.